In this video, I did Terraria 100 days. This took a long time to make, so if you could just check if you're subscribed, it's free and you can always unsubscribe later. Enjoy today's video. Day 1 started off simple and easy by chopping down trees and gathering slime for torches. Then I got attacked by multiple slimes and decided to fight for my life. I then decided to gather more trees to help us better in our journey to make houses and tools. I then was able to find a cave which will eventually help us to find better loot. After going down lower into the cave, I found gold, but eventually I did die to some slimes which were way more powerful than me at the time. After that happened, I decided to go back down but farther into the cave to find more loot. I decided to cross the cavern pond to find better loot than I've ever found before, which was, I'm pretty sure it's called a mace, and it could be used to become a better weapon. And I decided to turn that little underground thing into a house. Once I died again, I decided to go back up to the surface to make a house for the merchant before it turned night. But I encountered a pinky which gave me a lot of gold, and then I almost died to another slime, which was just terrible. I decided to fend off my newly made house with my new weapon, and it went pretty well, seeming that I was able to attack both enemies. And sadly, that was just the end of day 1. Let's get straight into this. Day 2, I decided to expand my house and expand the area to better forth my NPC status. I then found a golden bunny which will be very helpful for us to sell and make various amounts of cash. As I was sorting my inventory, I finally finished my house after so long and decided to venture down back into the caves to find more items to help us later in our journey. And that was legit all we did for day 2. Day 3, I forgot to start recording, but it was a blood moon and I did not survive any of the times I tried defeating any of the mobs because they were way too powerful for me. Thank goodness I started recording right before it ended, and I decided to go to the corruption right after because I tried to get a musket. Once I made it into the corruption, I immediately blew up an orb and got a musket. It was very helpful because it's still early on into the game, and we were able to have a big power upgrade. Once I got home, I decided to extend my house because I feel like it wasn't enough space for all the NPCs that I had coming soon. Then I decided I was powerful enough to defeat the King Slime, which was not even close to true. I had my buffs and I had my health, but the thing is momentum, which is what I didn't have at the time. I died and I decided to call quits for the day. Days 4 through 7, I legit have no recording at all. I have nothing to show you guys. Since days 4 through 7 didn't record, this is the stuff that I got. I got a mini shark, a boomstick, and then I got a bit more upgrades, such as my vanity, and I also defeated the Eye of Cthulhu and King Slime. I decided to see if I could take on the Eater of Worlds to see if we can just get a new weapon upgrade or even an armor upgrade, and this is how it went. Yes, I died. Yeah, I know. It was difficult. I don't know what I did wrong. I was doing everything correctly, throwing bombs on the ground for no apparent reason, you know. And I decided to gather enough materials to make a demonite pickaxe. I'm pretty sure that's what it's called. I forgot what it was called. Then I decided to make a elevator, that way we can get some good upgrades. And then, like, after an hour of mining, I found like a huge lava pool that I couldn't get over because I don't have obsidian skin potions yet because I need to get down to the underworld. So I decided to just, like, blow it up, obviously. The lava was becoming a bit too much, so I decided to just throw another piece of dynamite inside of this lava pool. That way it explodes in that area and not down in my elevator. As I finally made it down to the underworld, I found a hellstone house, whatever thing, and it was difficult to get around, seeming that I don't have obsidian skin yet. I eventually came up with a hellforge, which will help us make hellstone bars and better items. Once I made obsidian skin potions, I just decided to go straight down into the underworld once more to get hellstone bars. And also to probably find guide voodoo dolls to eventually let us defeat the wall of flesh. I finally came up from the surface, and as I was making the bars, I realized I didn't have enough obsidian to make everything that I wanted, so, you know, it was kind of unsuccessful. But in the end, I was able to make the molten bow, I'm pretty sure that's what it's called, and it was very helpful. I then got bored and decided to make a house for the people that will spawn the cave pylon for me, because the cave pylon will be very useful later on. So as a little cheat for the pylon, if you spawn in the nurse and the arms dealer in the same exact area, almost in every single biome you're able to get the pylon, which is awesome. I then decided to make a storage room because it's going to be super helpful to organize everything, and this took too long, man. As it turned night, the arms dealer and the nurse spawned in, so I was able to buy the cave pylon, but I didn't have space, so I just replaced it. I replaced the torch with the pylon, so yeah. And just like that, that was just the end of days 8 through 10. Days 11 through 14, I decided to work on the storage room because I needed to get it done sooner or later, so might as well do it now. The night of day 11, the storage room was finally finished, and it was super helpful to keep everything intact. I headed over towards the ocean so that way we can get the ocean pylon, and we can also get the angler to get various items from the quest that he gives. I then decided to buy the pylon and then place it on top of the base. That way, I don't know. I thought it looked nice, and I decided to move some NPCs in that would fit the area. Once it turned day, I decided to head over to the snow biome to try to get a snow pylon. But before I was building the house, I didn't know that the arms dealer and the nurse would not give me this pylon, so I just made this house for no reason, and I had to wait for the mechanic to, join. Then I decided to make a desert house for the desert pylon, and I think it went pretty well. I decided to go home and pass the time by clearing out my inventory until night. Once I cleared my inventory, it was finally the end of days 11 through 14. Days 15 through 17, I decided to extend my arena for bosses in the future, because I thought it would be way more helpful if I had way more space to move around. As it turned night, I decided to go to the desert biome to buy the desert pylon, but the nurse was not close enough to the arms dealer, so the arms dealer didn't sell the pylon, so I had to move the nurse closer to the arms dealer, which was dumb. I decided to go to the corruption, but then all of a sudden a goblin army approached, which was not what I expected, but I decided to break the shadow orb and get straight into killing the goblin army. I didn't know which weapons to use to kill these guys, so I just decided to use whatever was in my inventory, and I died too many times. Finally, I defeated the goblin army, which took way too long. I decided to head towards the ocean to move some NPCs into the ocean pylon, because right then and there the angler was all sitting by himself, so decided to give him some company with the dryad. I decided to make an arena for the Eater of Worlds because I decided it's finally time to defeat it. Once I finished the arena, I finally thought it was time to defeat the Eater of Worlds once and for all. That was it. We finally did it. We finally defeated the Eater of Worlds and got the Worm Scarf. Days 18 through 20, I decided to extend the minecart trail to make it a bit farther and extend towards the jungle for me to access it easier. I finally made it to the jungle through the minecart, and I was able to find the corruption, and in the corruption it had the meteorite in there, and I decided to mine it because why not? Also, since this is 1.4, dynamite and bombs do not blow up meteorite anymore, so I had to mine it manually, which was super annoying. I decided to craft more meteorite bars, that way I can make a full set of meteorite armor and get a space gun, because this will be super helpful later on. Once it turned night, I decided to head towards the dungeon and try to take on Skeletron for the first time. And after a long and epic battle, Skeletron was finally defeated and we had access to the dungeon. And just like that, it was the end of days 18 through 20. Days 21 through 23, I just decided to pass the time by going through the night and prepare for the inevitable. Something I did to pass the time is make a place to fish and decided to fish for the entire night. Once I got bored of fishing, I decided to head towards the dungeon and just go down there and explore it. Legit, after a minute of searching, I found a water bowl, which will be very helpful during the Wall of Flesh battle. Then found a cobalt shield, which will help us not take knockback anymore. Then went down to the underworld after I found a shadow key and decided to open some shadow chests to help us get a new bow. After 30 minutes of searching for this bow, I finally found it, the Hellwing bow. This will be very helpful during the Wall of Flesh and to help us defeat Queen Bee. To test out my new bow, I decided to do the Old One's Army, which went pretty well, seeming that I had a piercing weapon. Sadly, I died and the crystal did too, so the Old One's army was no more. I decided to call it quits for the day, and that was it for days 21 through 23. On day 24, I got a quest from the angler, and I went fishing for it, and I got it first try. And I wanted to get the bunny mount before the wall of flesh, that way it's easier for me to run. I decided to redo Old One's army, and it went pretty well, seeming that I won. Once I made it into the jungle, I decided to make an arena for the queen bee, but stuff didn't really go as planned as I blew up the summon on accident, and then we went straight into battle. As I accidentally blew up the summon, the battle immediately started with me attacking it with my new bow. And finally, once the battle was over, I got the treasure bag and opened it, and I got the bee's knees, which is a very good bow to defeat the wall of flesh. And once the battle was over, so was day 24. Finally, on day 25, I started with some fishing and just to mentally prepare myself for the wall of flesh battle. I then decided to reforge my items to get better damage and better defense. It was very difficult to reforge the frostbite boots, seeming that it cost so much money to reforge. After I reforged my items, it was finally time for the biggest battle of a lifetime. As I threw the guide voodoo doll into the lava, the battle started, but in the wrong direction. I made an arena for the left side, but then it apparently just went on the left side. It spawned on the left side. I don't know why, but I fought it anyways, and I barely used any of my buffs, thinking I wouldn't survive, but I was completely wrong. At such short health and barely any runway left, I was able to defeat the wall of flesh once and for all, which brought us into hard mode. And that was it. That was part 1 of my 100 days journey. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys soon. Goodbye.